Welcome back, everybody. Look who has been awakened from her slumber. She's warm, the rad fan kicked on. Blueberry, the 1991 Dodge Grand Caravan SE, is back. And we're here to finally finish the mess I made on the interior. As you can see. Okay, maybe she's dying. I don't know. Temp gauge has been working intermittently. Okay, she might be done. But as you can see, it's kind of a mess. We have gathered some parts. As you can see, there's a hood in there. That's from Barry 1.0, or not Carry 1.0. There's a cluster there. Look how shiny that cluster is. Look how shiny that one's not. Extra grill, glove compartment, ashtray, all kinds of bits. Exhaust, roof rack. We've got all kinds of parts here on top of the interior that needs to go back in. We also need to get this dash out of here. Need to get it gutted to the firewall, and we need to repair this rust down here. So I've got it pulled up here where it is going to live until that is done. There's the rad fan. But it's idling, it's running fine, kind of. I did take it for a quick putt. We had a wasp nest in here, and we evicted them by taking it down the road till they all fell out and then knocking the nest down after pulling the front right headlight out. So that's been taken care of, they're gone. Otherwise, just been letting it run here, just kind of cycling it. It has moved around the yard a few times. Gonna reorganize everything here. But yeah, I figure first order of business I want to do is I want to try fix that cluster. So we have a temp gauge that goes in and out, and the speedo quit working, 4.5 miles in, and I think I put 2-3 miles on it since then, just kind of putting it around. I got a hunch it's this cluster that's kind of bad, or wires chewed in here. So I think what I want to do is I want to take this all apart here, get this out of here, take a look at the back of the cluster. I want to replace it with that one anyway, so I figure we'll plug that in and we'll test and we'll see if everything comes back to life or not. And that'd be a quick diagnosis, easy, good to go, and we've got that nice cluster. Then I just got to swap the odometer over to that cluster, or all the gauges to that, whatever I do. Make 2 out of 1, the nicer parts in here. And after we verify the cluster is all working, I think I'm going to pull the battery and just start pulling this dash out, get the column out, get it gutted the firewall, and then once we get all this space cleared up front here, we're going to probably get all the stuff out, and then we're going to start going to town on fixing this pretty advanced floor pan rust. We'll see what we can come up with there. We got to get something better than that. So I'll get this cluster pulled out here quick, and I'll bring it in there and we'll show you what we got going on. Alright, we got the cluster out, and here's it side by side with our new cluster. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get into this whole differences between 91s and post 91s. So here's our 91 cluster. On the surface, it looks just like any old second gen cluster, but if you look real close, immediately the cases are different. See that, how it's thin up top? And this has got this extra fat bezel here. I'm not sure if that's going to cause fitment issues or if it's just shifted or something funny. I'm not exactly sure. Because, yeah, they got different part numbers up here, but if we flip them over, here. Rods all look the same for the shift indicator. I believe the part number was even the same. If I look, we'll look here closely. So, what is this? No, they are different. 867, 96, whatever, 8679. Well, so that's 96B, and this is 96. So it looks like the little plug has got a little white plug here instead, and this is black. That's not very different. The back panel is the same part number, so those are the same. Let's see if we can see a revision number on the board. All the lights are in the same spot. This one's had some bulbs replaced because there's some black bulbs in here, these two. This one's all original bulbs. So it's, what, 693188 revision E, maybe? And what do we got over here? Something 617810 revision D. But I'm looking at the plug. The plugs look the same. I'm assuming the board is essentially the same. I see no reason why this wouldn't just plug and play. This came out of like a 94 Plymouth Grand Voyager, 114,000 miles. Look at the needles, look at the orange. It's in great shape. This one obviously is in not as good shape, and our coolant gauge goes in and out, and our oil pressure is a little low. That could just be the switch, that could be the gauge, it could actually just be a little low. I mean, as long as it's above 0, it's fine. These things don't need all that much oil pressure, so I'm not worried. You hear it, it's quiet as can be. It's happy as can be. But hopefully all of those work. Hopefully our speedo works, and it's just this cluster. You know, it's an old cluster. It's sat for 20 years. I'm sure it's got some cracked joints. You never know. Who knows? Definitely keep it. But I hope that one works because it's a lot nicer. Oh, here goes nothing, right? Hey, look at that. Fuel went up. Temp gauge went up. Alternator gauge went up. Check gauge's light is on. Oil pressure gauge is coming up. Sitting about the same as the other one. Tack is on. Oh heck, yeah, it works just fine. We'll see if the speedo works. That's like the nicest set of gauges in anything I own. It's kind of scary looking at it. There's reverse gear. Really hope the speedo works. I don't have a mirror on the passenger side. I'm backing up blind here. Alright, please, Mr. Speedometer. I don't think it works. Unrelated issue. Better not go far, it's running like crap again. But Mr. Speedometer does not work. So I wonder if the speedo gear is stripped or something. That's my hunch. I think I'll pull that guy off quick just because I want to know. I think the little speedo gear is stripped or something. That'd be my guess. But the rest of the cluster is working. So I think we're doing good there, and I think our temp gauge is the problem, because if you look in the old cluster, it kind of just flops. This one, it didn't do that, so. There we go, into gear. I think we're good, at least as far as the temp gauge goes. I guess we'll find out, right? Alright, I'll get her parked. Well, this is the speed sensor out of the original transmission. I went and I just pulled this. I pulled the other one out. It's still sitting out. I don't really see anything wrong with it. But this one kind of feels like it grabs better, so maybe, I don't know. The gear is definitely fine on the other one, but this kind of feels like it drags better. And we know they both work. This one worked when we drove it that, 1/5 of a mile or whatever before it puked all the fluid out. And that one worked for 4 miles. So I think I'll just throw this one in and we'll just find out. I'm just going to, load in the parts can in here because I'm trying to not have to. I don't want there to be a wiring issue. That would be awesome. I just hope it's this. So we'll throw this in quick and we'll try it again. And I'll let you know. Here we go. Does this miraculously fix it? Oh, shoot, it did. Ha! That was it. Ah, it works! Ah, no way. I can't believe that actually fixed it. Alright, let's put a few miles on this cluster, I guess. Ha, look at that! That's wild! Actually fixed it. I guess that gear is stripped out or something internally, or whatever electrical signal guy does the thing, and it's not doing the thing. Nice! Okay, that makes my day, honestly, because I did not want to deal with electrical issues. And you know what I absolutely hate? The odometer and the speedometer not working. And you know what absolutely is bothering me? Putting miles on this odometer that's not going to matter. I mean, oh, my van's only got 114,000 miles. This thing's mint, guys. She's freaking mint. No, we're gonna go, I think what I'm gonna end off tonight doing is swapping the odometer into this cluster. I think, or, MacGyvering the two together, Frankensteining them. And we're gonna end our night to do that, and then I think I'm gonna come back tomorrow or whenever I get to it next. And we're gonna start cleaning this out, ripping this dash apart like I've been meaning to do, and getting that all taken care of. And then getting this thing put back together. Boy, do we got a lot of work ahead of us. But it's working. All of our gauges are working. The temp gauge is working. Speedo's working. The odometer is rolling. The speedometer is working. Awesome. Oh, hey, look at the temp gauge. Nope, the temp gauge is still acting up, so that other cluster is completely fine. This is something else. I wonder if our temp sensor just kind of sucks, you know? That's not unlikely. I should have another temp sensor around, to be honest with you. But it's getting better because it's coming back. It used to just quit and not work at all. That one's coming back. So I bet you we got a temp sensor. And also, here's that, you remember that run thing when it gets warm? I think the temp sensor's got something to do with that. So I might just go ahead and replace the temp sensor, and we'll see what happens if it gets any better. All right, so I got our coil pack out of the way to get our coolant sensor. I did relieve the pressure of the cooling system, but this is gonna probably be messy because this is downhill, so I gotta be quick. I've got this guy right here. It's a used sensor. I pulled it out of an intake. Who knows where the lower intake came from. I have no idea, but I have it. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. So I'm gonna try to pull that out. It's a 3/4 and just gonna be quick. Just gotta get it loose, pop, slam this one in, and just go. It's gonna make a little bit of a mess, but whatever. So hopefully this fixes it. I'm looking at the wires. The wires, I mean, they look present. They're not bad, not corroded or anything. I just bet that sensor's finicky. So we'll try this. All right, let's find out. Hey, look at that. It does work. I think it's squeaking because it's got water on the belt. That should go away. All right, got the light switch in, and look, all of the lights on the cluster work. And boy, are they nice. I think we gotta turn the dimmer off. There we go. Dome lights went out. Our new ashtray light, I installed the new bulb, by the way, that came off that little harness we pulled up there. That's working here. I think, here's another, oh, the glove box light. This one had a glove box light. Which van is it I have that doesn't have it? It's got a dummy light. I think it's Barry, the 93 Caravan. That's where this will go. I couldn't remember which van it was for. So this one's got a glove box light. It's Barry, the 93 that doesn't. It's got the dummy, so that'll go in there. But, oh, no. Uh-oh. Well, that didn't fix that, so what does that mean? Seems to be running okay, though, but we've still got no temp gauge, and it's dead right now. Damn. Okay, so we've got the original cluster here, tore completely down. As you can see, 212, 251. The odometer's been reset because we were rolling it around. First thing you want to do, I pulled the back piece off for no reason. You don't have to pull that off to do what we're doing, but I just wanted to pull it off anyway and just kind of look at the board and everything. It seems fine. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pull the glass piece out. That's no big deal. Try not to scratch it or whatever. And then next you want to pull this piece out, and don't put your fingerprints on it if you can help it. Just pry up on the sides after you pull the screws out. They're all whatever this Torx is. Is this going to tell me what it is? No, probably not. It's like a T15. You should be able to pry up on the sides and it'll slide up off of these motors. And then once that one's up, you can pull the fuel and, gauge little pod up and out, and he'll pull off of here too. And that pretty well leaves your odometer here. And I should be able to, I think you have to unplug the motor on the back, if I recall correctly. Yes, you're going to want to unplug that motor, and then you should be able to unscrew this and pull this off and put this in our case, our new cluster right here. And we'll have to pull this cluster apart and, pull that out, and we'll just swap them over. That way we retain our mileage, but we also get the nice cluster with, nice gauges and everything. Now, what I could also do is leave this alone, pull this off, put that cluster top right over this, and it should be the same difference. So, however you want to do it, because, do we do that and just keep the 91 cluster body? That might be the smart play, but that's got the nicer, newer board. I don't know what the difference is really. So that bulb's burned out, and we know all those bulbs work. So I'm probably just going to swap them like I was intending to. Well, yeah, exactly. Swap the odometers, because see, that bulb looks burned. And I don't feel like playing with the bulbs and testing all these again. We know that all works. Fair? I'll be back when that is done. All right, here's our second cluster all tore down. And you do have to pull these covers. I haven't pulled it off of this one yet, but you have to do that to be able to get at the odometer, like the motor plug. But she's pulled, as you can see. I think the difference in these cluster cages or whatever, you know, what do we want to call those? I think it's just plastic savings, to be honest with you. I think it's just plastic savings. Otherwise, this all looks good. Something else you'll notice here about a 91 and 92 plus is the font on the odometer is different. And I kind of like this font better, but it's different. So you kind of get a feel for that, and then you look at that. It's kind of thinner. I don't know what all is like completely different about it, but it's definitely not the same. It's close, but it's not the same. Anyway, just some weird thing I thought I would show you. All right, so I got the two odometers side by side, and I figured I'd show you some differences. There's just a couple of small ones. Obviously, we talked about the font being different, but if you notice, this one doesn't have a plastic cover melted onto it like that one does. So it looks like they kind of increase their security of them by adding that. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's to UV protect it better, because as you can see how UV damage this is. I was trying to see if we could swap that, and we could, but we'd have to get this plastic cover off of this one otherwise, because all you'd have to do is I think you pull this little gear out. This is the guy, because the motor drives the odometer, and then this gear drives the trip meter. If you pop that out, you should be able to pop this, and it would slide out, and then you could flip them, but you'd have to get this cover off. And then again, the fonts would be different, so I don't know. I think we'll leave the aged trip meter in there, but otherwise they're the same. Obviously, they're not tampered with, so I haven't done any tampering. See, the plastic melted on there. It's all good to go. It's all secure. Motor's different because it's got a little blue housing. So we're just going to plop that into here and put her back together. And boom, our mileage is accurate, but we have the nice, fancy cluster. Hey, look, a problem. Because the odometers are different. Look at it. It doesn't line up. What am I going to do about that? Trip meter lines up, but the odometer is shifted. See that? That's interesting. Right there. I haven't ran into that problem before, but it is different. That's weird. See what I can come up with. Okay, yeah, they are completely different odometers. I didn't catch that earlier. Were you guys looking at that? You see that? See how this has got a blank and the gear size is different? It's all different. They're completely different sizes. Now the trip meter gears are all the same, it looks like. That's the same. But the odometer side is different. And because of that, they have the cutout is different. This is the old one. The cutout is bigger than right there. So what I think I'm going to try is we're going to pull the gear, like the motors off of those, and we'll pop the needles off. And I think we'll flip the needles over to here. Problem is we lose that orange. That sucks. That's not a big deal. Oh man, or can I like Dremel it out or something maybe? Why? It's such a small little difference, but sure enough it is different. So here's what I first did, is I took this bezel and I carefully notched it out with a heated razor blade. As you can see, it ain't perfect. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to be happy with that or if I want to switch the needles and put them on the old one over there. I don't know. Should I be happy with that? I think I should be happy with that. I don't think it's all that noticeable, really. It's definitely there if you know it's there. Like if you look really, really close. But like sitting right here. I think it's fine. We'll see. Now, if you don't have a 91 van and you have a 92 up, I think this won't be a problem if you were trying to like fix your gauges. It's just weird 91 things where they're different. Of course, right? I decided I was going to be happy with it. There she is, all back together. That is our 94, 95 cluster, I think. Whatever. I think it's a 94 it came out of. With a 91 odometer going into our 91 Caravan. And here's this one mostly put back together. As you can see, it's almost like, whoops, they could have put a 10th gauge there if they wanted to, right? Because that's funny how that fits pretty well, and it's got an extra blank. I don't know what the deal is here. I know Chrysler reused lots of parts for all kinds of stuff. All right, we are back, like I said. I think I'm gonna start off my day with an easy win, and that is fixing that and the one over there that's more present. Because I've got these right here. I got these at U-Pull at some point. So they should go in. We just got to pop the door panels off quick. Right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. We got to pop the door panels off quick, get the mirrors unbolted, get them swapped over, and that'll be two things out of here. And then I think I'm going to keep ignoring the dash. I want to see about getting that hood put on, just so it's not in here. Because we fixed that hood, but it's shot. It needs replaced. So we'll replace it with this less bad one for now. Door panel's actually in really good shape. It's too bad it's faded because it's sat, but I don't think it's ever been off the vehicle before. I know that because this is here still. And usually they're not in good shape like that. It's a little fallen right where we need it to be because that's where our power mirror switch is. This thing does got power locks, isn't that cool? Yeah, so we should be pretty good. We'll just have to peel this guy off here. And you got a couple of 8mm nuts down here, I think 1, 2, and 3. And that should let our mirror be removed. And then we should just be able to swap a new one in. Hopefully the power mirrors work. If they don't, I'm not gonna complain at all because I'll set them and forget them. And then I figure while we have the door panel off, I'll do a quick scrub on it. We'll see if I can clean it up a little bit. We'll probably do a deeper extraction cleanup when we start putting the interior back together, but I'll maybe make it look a little better. We'll see. We'll just kind of a test run, see how it'll clean up. Maybe come in here and clean the door. No, we're not getting ourselves into another job yet. But door jambs need to be cleaned. This door is in really good shape. No rust on it at all. It's nice, a very nice door. So I'll well, that stud broke and it dropped my socket down to the bottom of the door. So I gotta fish that out now. Great. All right, tip to getting the mirror harness out is just make sure you pull this guy off or you'll struggle getting it through the hole on the outside because it goes out. Just FYI. Oh yeah, that's been bothering me for a while. Yeah, now you know which one the real bad one is. They flip-flopped. That's why I got them both when I did. Actually, I think it was a $100 wheelbarrow cart, and I just kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff in. I got a bunch of extra switches and stuff too, but that yeah, we can't do that either. Although it is better. We gotta do that one quick. But I got 2 mirrors finally. So awesome. Very awesome. I can't believe how sun faded and burned up that one is. That's wild. Not really. It sat for 20 years, so we're not surprised actually. Alright, quick clean scrub. Got surface stuff off. It's definitely a lot better. A little trick I have here is these two guys. Usually this one gets all dried up and gross like that one. Well, that one was here and this one was there. You never see that one. You always see this one. Flip them. See how much better that looks from right here? Little trick there. So that side's done. Let's knock out that side. Alright, here's a quick before. Gross door panel. Alright, and there's that door panel all cleaned up. It cleaned up pretty good. Obviously the fabrics need a little work, but that's not bad. Did a few upgrades here. So Carrie, the 91 1.0 Carrie, is back there still. Should have been gone, but luckily it wasn't. Because we were able to save this off of that van and put it on this one, because this one was shot on ours. And this is, oh, it's better. Something else we just pulled off of Carrie is this mirror bezel. Our bezel was present. It was sun faded and shot. This has still got a finish on it. So I took that off the door, which I have back there, threw it on here, put our switch on because the switch in this one was sticky. And so there's an upgrade. And then I put 2 expertly placed self-tapping screws to hold the fabric part of the door panel onto the door panel. And she's mint. And if you look here, we got our mirror. Oh, yeah, obviously, we've got our mirror on and bolted in. Good to go. If you look here, we go to left. You go like that. Go like that. And you go like that. And you go like that. And it works. And you go over there, switch to right, and go up. You go down. You go in. And you go out. And Blueberry is working power mirrors. And they're actually nice power mirrors. They're in good shape. I think somebody's painted them before. I don't know if that's factory or not. I don't know, it's hard to say. They're in good shape nonetheless. Or maybe they took like a heat gun to it or a torch, cleaned up the plastics. They look good. So that side quest is done. Next is this hood. We're going to go ahead. Oh, there's cats everywhere. This cat, that cat that just disappeared in the cornfield. Get it out of here. And you know what this hood's going to be used for? This hood's not going to go to waste. You see this nice metal? This metal here? Because it's only the inside structure that's rotted. All the sheet metal up here is good. You know where I need sheet metal, right? We're going to put our hood in the floors. And that'll be the entire front floor. And then some, I think. So that is my plan there, is use that sheet. Because it's already primed, so it's like nice. That's perfect. That is exactly what I'm going to do. And we'll get the wavy, less bad hood on. Let's get to work. Alright, big progress update here. We've made a mess, but we made some good progress here. I forgot about the whole wiper thing, so this is a good thing. Got to take care of that before we put the hood back on, or that's coming back off. So I guess I'll start there. I got the whole wiper cowling off. These wiper arms in good shape. I think I'll sell these to you guys. I'll give you guys a good deal. $50 an arm. They're quick release. Custom. Yeah, those were seized, so I had to cut them off. And then obviously that ruins the linkage, which wasn't long for this world. They needed new bushings anyway. Which bushing was it? It's literally about to fall apart. Yeah, it is this one. This one's literally falling apart. This one probably got the recall because that looks like a newer bushing. This is the arm that gets recalled, or is on the recall and gets replaced. And that looks like it's been done. And if I remember the Carfax, I think it had been done and was documented. So otherwise, well, that's out. We're going to clean all this up, the lower sill on this beautiful windshield that's in such good condition. It's not delaminating at all. We'll get that all cleaned up. We'll make sure the drains are free. Although, yeah, no, it's packed full of stuff. Look in there. See it? You guys see that? Yeah, it's packed full of stuff. This side's free. This is the side that always clogs. It's free. That side's packed full of junk. So we'll get that cleaned out. I did nick this plastic, but this plastic was kind of shot anyway. I figured I was going to have to break it to get it off. I didn't, but I nicked it with the grinder over there. I think I'm just going to toss it. I've got a couple of them now. And I actually pulled one. I pulled this wiper linkage for it. The linkage will work, but the arms won't, because these are non-sprayer arms. They're off of 94, 95, or 93 plus or something. On 91, 92, the sprayer is on the wiper arms and not in the hoods. With the later models, it's in the hood. So, actually a better design, but I have the wiper arms and linkage off of carry. Those all came off, so I got to run in and grab those. They're off site, so I got to grab those so we can put that all back together. And then I got the hood here. This is Carrie's hood. I banged the dents back out of it, and I've done a lot of work here. So I banged the dents out of it, and then it had a little bit of rust on the lips, so I hit it with some rubberized foam, or not foam, rubberized undercoating. Obviously, we're just covering the rust with that, and it is what it is, but here's my thought. We cover it good enough, it should slow it down, which is good. And two, because this metal's been bent and it was kind of wavy, this should give it some structure so it doesn't want to wrinkle back up. Because right now I got it pretty good. This should keep it from re-wrinkling. And then here's the other thing. Remember, Carrie's a 91, but Carrie also is a 3.0. So the sticker was wrong. Somehow, I managed to peel the entire sticker off of that hood. Came with the adhesive and everything, so it was like okay. And what I did is I pulled the old sticker off of this hood, the 3.0 sticker. I taped around it because it kind of pulled funny, and I painted it white underneath because some of the white came off the sticker, but all the black stayed. So I have a nice white background, and I used some spray adhesive on both sides. I was able to stick the original sticker for this van back down on this hood. Don't ask me how I managed that. I got lucky that that sticker, the adhesive somehow was soft and it came off. The sticker that was on this hood, no, it failed and it just ripped in pieces. So like I said, I painted it with some white paint underneath, and then I glued it and stuck the sticker underneath, and we've got the original 3.3 liter sticker. That's all correct, so that's awesome. Otherwise, this is the same thing. This might be wrong. What does it say? Single unit, 82, 29 ounce and 41 ounce of R12. Not that it matters, because, you know, 29 and 41, no, it's right. So that's the same refrigerant sticker, so we'll leave that alone. It's actually in better shape on this hood. So otherwise, I also got the new hood light in. It's run down to there, the wire's there, it's present. So that'll be ready to go. And I do have the hood insulation in there that we'll be putting on it here in a couple minutes, or right before I put the hood on. I got the Chrysler emblem transferred over. I also got the bug deflector off. It came right off, so I've got that ready to go, but I'm not going to put it on until the hood is on, because then I'll be able to drill the holes while it's like stable. But we're knocking out all that front work up here. And we're getting a bunch of junk out of the back of the van. Like I said, that's my kind of goal here. Instead of moving this stuff around, let's see how much of this stuff we can use up. And like some of this stuff we don't need. Like, we don't need that battery tray. We don't need any of those brackets there. It's all spare stuff. So like that can go away. We don't need all those jacks. So I can pile some of this stuff up quick. And I'll probably bring it with me when I go get the wiper assemblies and linkages. So yeah, I'll go through some of the stuff and just kind of get all the duplicates out of here and stuff we don't need. Because the less stuff that we keep moving around, the better. Actually, it looks like those arms would work. You just got to transfer the sprayer stuff, because they've got the, this is so it slides in through here and then it goes into there. It's got these on there. They're built into it. Yep, so it's got the hook and it's got the hole. You just got to transfer your bits onto there. But those are pretty brittle. So we're going to hope the other ones are in better shape. All right, so I got a nice pile of parts here that we don't need, and then are going to go to safekeeping for the next project. Actually had a bunch of Carry 1.0 parts in here. I guess I must have been grabbing them for both, and I just kind of stuck them in here. Look what I found. Brand spanking new wiper arms with the sprayer nozzles and hoses on it. I guess I don't gotta go anywhere, because I'll be able to use that other linkage. And we just throw those on. And it's mint. Awesome. Otherwise, as you can see, the amount of parts here is decreased. It is decreasing still. But I'll still have to run those in, but I'm not doing that now. Now I've got a little more time here. Put it back together. Sweet. I forgot about that. All right, that was a mouse nest. I dug him out, and then there was some compressed dirt, and I got most of it out, and then I took the garden hose with the jet, and I sprayed down that one. That was already clear. And I sprayed down that and sprayed down that, and all of a sudden it went whoosh. And then I kept spraying until all the junk is gone, and she's nice and clean. Now I'll wipe this down, and we'll get that wiper linkage in there, and we should be mint to start putting this back together. But that's a big problem right there. So they are in the HVAC box, and then they got in here, made a nest in that whole area, and obviously clogged that, let water in there, let water in the cab, and as you can see, the cab, the floors are rotten. And the floors are rotten because of that, because moisture got in and soaked all of that. And that's what it's from right there, that clog. So that's been addressed. All right, new to us wiper linkage is in. I got that little chunk of hose replaced. I got to find a piece to go from there to there, and then that's all we need, and the sprayer system should be fully patched. I went and I dug out the original wiper motor that we pulled out of this, and what's the over-under on that working? Because really we need that to work before we put everything back together. So I got the switch. Shall we go find out? I'm curious. I haven't had one of these working that has the switch like this and not on like a stalk. Let me get this plugged in quick and we'll find out. All right, please work. Key not present. It appears I have lost the keys. The last thing I used them for was to unlock the hatch, and they're not with the hatch. So, uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, they ain't there. Where did I set them? Did I set them down? I would have saw them in this mess when I was cleaning up if I set them down, right? Ruh-roh. Let me do some finding, see if I can find them. They had fallen under the hood. Never put them in this pocket. I need to put them in there or back in the ignition where they belong. So, all right, please wiper motor. That was a scare, by the way. Oh, I hear it. It's on. Oh, it works. We're in business. It's loud. Listen to it go. And it's spinning. So, he's a loud boy, but it works. Good enough. I can work with that. So, the way this works is you got high, you got low, and you got intermittent, and it works. Yep, and off. Awesome. Awesome, that all works. That's amazing, honestly, that motor works. I need to adjust the length on those hoses, but look at that. We've got wipers that kind of function. Need to really clean that glass. They kind of are stuck on it, but watch this. If we go up here and hit the sprayer, it sprays too. Look at that. Probably the cleanest that glass has been. Let's keep going. We officially have working wipers. Kind of. Definitely a little bit of adjustment to do, but hey, they work. Cowling's back on. We can put the hood on. We can get all that all done. All right, I got this one, probably the best. It's got a little, maybe just a touch too much, but when it goes great. That one kind of pulls a little tight. It's kind of folded up under there. I don't know the longevity on that hose, but it's on there. It moves, it makes it. That wiper motor is not very good, but it does work, so it's good enough for now. And it cleaned up the window, and most importantly, it works. So I've been over here. I got the hood insulation on. This is a hand-me-down insulation from who knows where. Now, if you remember, this hood's rusty. I used as many clips as I could. There isn't one here, and yeah, there's nothing I can do about that one. Except maybe bend the metal out and put it under it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, actually. So we're going to stab through. We're doing it live and bend that over. So that's held in place now. Got to get creative here. So nothing here, that's okay. Nothing there, that's okay. All along the bottom we're good. The top, it tucks in there. Center, nothing. This side, it just kind of tucks in. So what I did is I took two of those clips and I cut the little press-in pieces off, and I put a self-tapper through each of them, and I used them as big washers, and that'll hold it there. And then also, I had a different hood light harness that actually has the plug on it, so I've got that so we can do a quick disconnect if we need to, and it had all the clips, so that's all good to go. The hood is officially good to go and ready to be put on. I dropped a hood bolt earlier, and it did have a shim in it, so I've got a shim. I've got 2 of those, and I got this one. This one went with the shim. So somebody had been there at some point and shimmed this hood when it was on carry. I dropped one of the hood bolts down here somewhere, and I don't know where it quite ended up. Whoa, that's different. Got the hood on. I got it all adjusted. I had to do a bunch of adjusting with the latch because we swapped the latches because the one on that hood was pretty rotten. Look at that. The Pentastar is cockeyed. Do you see that? I'm just noticing that now. I'll have to adjust that. Figure out why. That's weird. That's actually interesting why that's like that. But look at that hood. Whoa, does that make a difference? So this is Carry 1.0's hood. She ain't perfect. It's wavy. It's full of dings and dents, but it's blue. And it's structurally more sound than that one is. I cleaned it up because remember we pressure washed it just a little bit, but it was still packed with dirt. So I cleaned it with some Windex and a 5,000 grit piece of sandpaper. So my patented 2-in-1 process, clean and polish, has turned this hood blue, and it cleaned up pretty good actually. I mean, for what it is. It is miles better than our other hood, and most importantly, it functions properly and doesn't fold. So, that looks awesome. It's a night and day. It's a night and day thing. Especially if you stand over here where there's just a little bit of paint left on the fender. It almost looks like it's meant to be there. So, tomorrow I'll go in and I'll get the bug deflector on. I'll fix whatever's going on with that Pentastar. I'm not quite sure, actually. And, then we're done with up here, and then we can really get onto the interior. We've got our floor pan right here, and now we just got to gut the dash. Heck, yeah, we got a lot of progress done today. That's most progress in quite a while here since we put the trans in. So it must have been crooked when I had it on the other one too. I don't think these are off a Caravan, at least not a second gen. The bend is wrong. We come out to turn up over here. Yeah, the whole base is different. I mean, the Pentastar is the same, but the base is different. I wonder if this is off a first gen or something, or is it off like a New Yorker or like a LeBaron? No, it's off a first gen. Look, these are first gen Pentastar emblems because the hood's got a bigger bend. Wonder where I got these. Well, I guess we're on the hunt for either a second-gen Pentastar or we roll without it. Which is it originally it had the piece missing, and so maybe we just roll without. I do think I got a Chrysler Town and Country one we could put in too. That might be cool. I don't know. We'll see. I'll get the reflector on first. But that's tomorrow, right? It's bedtime, isn't it? Yeah. It's bedtime. It's bedtime, Mr. Honey. Yeah, you. No, you're Graham. You are not Honey. You are Graham. Graham, it's time for bed. Let's go. Yeah, you little spook. Rawr. What? Alright, well there she is in the day, and with a proper Pentastar on there. I got that, actually from over here, from Turnip, because I had that on the hood from the 94 Town and Country with the wood grain, because I still have that hood off of that van, because that hood's immaculate. I had that on it, so I grabbed that, but I didn't want to waste the Diamond Pentastar on this when it's gonna have a bug deflector on it anyway. I figured this turnip, the 93, was the best candidate for it, and I think I was correct. Boy, does that look good on the white. So turnip's been upgraded, and we have a proper Pentastar. I think now that it's clean, I didn't know it had that many dents in it. And you would think those are hail dents, right? No, they're golf ball dents, because Carrie and Blueberry and Turnip all sat next to a golf course, but Carrie, which this hood is from, was right in firing range, and there were golf balls I found around it, and I'm pretty sure those are golf ball dents, because otherwise they'd all have hail damage if it was hail dents, right? They'd all have hail damage. No, it's just this hood, and the hood was in the perfect spot where it'd go bing bang, you know, and just on top of the fact that the hood's been sat on a time or two. So she's perfect, but actually, structurally, it's nice when you pick up the hood and it doesn't fold, or when you go to put it down and it doesn't crinkle. So I will take that, and it's blue to boot. So it's not that. It's definitely better. This hood's straight, but unfortunately it's kinked, so it's not straight. But you know what I mean, right? The skin of the hood is in good shape. Bend-wise, that one is not, but structurally this one's better. I'm gonna get the bug deflector on it. That should take away 90% of that, because you'll focus on it instead of that, and then we'll be perfect. And there she is in the daytime. Not as pretty looking, but I'd say that looks really good. Now I've been busy clearing more stuff out of the back, and I've got the center roof rack chrome pieces in, the little trims. And I guess I lost a screw because I had to put a black self-tapper in there. Anyway, I siliconed around the holes after I cleaned them up. And then I put these over, screwed them in, and then siliconed over the screw holes. One, it'll keep those, I guess they're stainless anyway, screws from rusting, and keep any water that pools in here from getting in there, because we don't want water in here. And I can't silicone those screws from the inside because they're under this support. Now this side, I can see the screws. I'm gonna go in with a silicone gun and silicone those, but the front ones are under this brace and I can't see them. Like, there's one, and I might be able to get some silicone in there, but the rest are under that foam. So I don't think we're getting at those ones. That's okay. I think we got them sealed. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the roof rack up here and kind of game plan how I'm gonna secure that. And then obviously I gotta seal up these old holes from the old rack. Hopefully I can put the new rack over top of that. We'll see. I'd say that looks pretty good with the chromes. Nice. Alright, I got the roof rack right about where I want it. And I also got it cleaned up here. Scrubbed it down. A little bit of simple green, knocked all the moss off. This is where it's sitting, so we're gonna have to silicone all of these holes up. But I'll have to drill through, figure out where I'm at, and then I think I'll probably through bolt it in some form. But it looks good. It looks really good. Just wait till I got the chromes on the ends. Yeah, that thing looks nice. Just like that one. Except the only thing we're missing, I noticed we don't have the little screw guys on top here. We don't have these. They fell off of that one, or whatever happened to them. See if I can get a hold of a couple of those. But the rack itself looks good. Well, the roof rack is on, it's bolted in. The next guy is gonna hate me for the amount of silicone I have used on this thing. But I don't want a roof leak, so there. So what we've done, if you look up here, I've got one that's got a bolt on it, on each one. Each one's got one bolt, not two, but that one bolt for the next guy is going to prove to be a pain in the butt, because odds are he'll have to pull the headliner. The other one, because you can't get a bolt, is just like that. Then all the holes are siliconed. Same thing back there, there, and right there. And she is secure, ain't going anywhere, and most importantly, from about 5 foot away, it looks pretty good. Look at that. Nice. And next for the small things on the list, Remember the whole ordeal where we ordered 6 injectors and we only got 5? Well, he sent me the new one, and I never put it in, but I left it up here. So I finally just went and I pulled the rail up, and I got that new injector installed, and seems like it's running. Seems like it's running good. They're just doing that weird cutout thing again. So I'm starting to think that it could be like a cam sensor or something. Oh, hey, did you see that, how it died when I touched the cam sensor? Like, that's kind of corroded. That's super corroded. We must have reused it or something. I think it's just the plug that's corroded. So I hold it together and I move it around. It's fine. And I kind of moved it in and out a few times. I think it's just corrosion on the plug. That's all that is, I think. Something wrong with it, that's for sure. Man. Alright, I just swapped out the mirror with one that's not super delaminated, and that brings us to the end of all the extra parts and stuff in here. The only box left in here is stuff for the cooling system, including a brand new heater core, which we happen to need for that. Well, I guess that's why you watch what you're doing. You know that injector I just threw in there? I found this in the glove box there, and if you look in here, that's the new injector I ordered. So you know the one that's in there is that 5.2 RAM injector. I guess it works, but I'm sure it's spraying the wrong amount of fuel. So I guess I got to do that again. I thought it fit kind of funny. Well, now I know it fit kind of funny. Dang it. There, for the 3rd time we have an injector in there. That's why I put it on the front, because you can sneak those front 3 out. No leaks. Just a little bit of fuel needs to evaporate, but it seems fine. Well, for 35 minutes, I think we've done pretty good, especially going back and forth a few times just for the right size sockets and tools. In hindsight, I probably should have disconnected the column from the steering box before I pulled it all apart, but they're never stuck like that one is, but I guess I should have expected it, right? That was pretty seized on there. I also found, when I pulled the dash out, a childcare receipt from April 30th of 2001 for $66 to the prior owner that wasn't the guy I bought it from, and he wasn't the guy who bought it from the property of the guy that owned it, but it was the person that the guy that owned the property originally bought it from back in 03 or 02 or whatever, when it was last on the road, the last owner that actually probably had it on the road. So that was cool. Otherwise, we're getting pretty close here. I should just have to pull the speaker grills off to get at the cables up there. Probably pull the speakers out, because we might as well do that anyway. And then once those are out, should do a couple bolts across the top, a couple down the bottom right here, I think, just to slide out. Is there one up here? I don't remember if there's a... No, not on these ones. On the newer vans, there's a bolt up here, but I think this is just slotted on the second gens. So that should be pretty easy. And then the dash should slide out. We should be able to unhook whatever connections we need to unplug. And then it should just come off, and then we've got the HVAC box, and that's it. So we're pretty well just about there. And there it is. A couple connections you probably could have done ahead of time. You could have pulled the little guy for the brake switch, you could have pulled the guy for the parking brake, and you could have pulled the firewall plug out, as well as the little, what do you want to call that? The relay for the fan switch that's out on the outside. You got to unplug that and feed it back through, which conveniently fed through that mouse house right there. So that's there. That's cool. That's an old one right there. And now we just have the HVAC box, and that's it. So that's pretty good here, and that's not too bad to remove. And so what we'll have to do here is take that bracket out, but we'll do that last just because then we can be in here when we're unbolting it. But we should just have to do up here in the engine bay. This is a lot easier on a second gen because you can get behind the upper plenum. We've got to take out the heater cores lines, the AC lines, and these vacuum lines that have these convenient splices in them where they've already been broke. Well, I think they weren't broke. I think they were chewed by mice and we had to splice them. I think that's what that was. And then it's this nut right there, that nut right there, and that nut right there, and then that one down there. There's 4 of them. And then you got to take this guy off too. I can't forget about this guy. I'll just do it right now. Sometimes they're not there. That's the cowl drain, like the HVAC box drain for like the AC. And they're just held on with like a quick clip, like that. So we'll just set him there where we'll forget about it. And I believe these are 11mm nuts, just so you're aware. I'll be back when we're ready to rip that out, I suppose. And there she is, she's out. I could already see a mouse condo on top of that poor fan in there, so that's great. But she's out. I think I am going to go the extra step though, just because of how much repair we have to do. I'm going to get this firewall insulation off, which is a couple extra steps here. We got to pull little plastic trims around the side there on that side. And then all these little, like, they're just quick, like, machine washers. They kind of just bite into those plastic bits. Get all those out of there. And then we got to pull this bracket down here for, like, the brake pedal assembly. Pull the gas pedal off, which is just 2 10mm bolts. We got to pull the parking brake loose. I think I'm just going to pull it loose and hang it down. And then I think the hood guy's got to come off and just hang. Then we can pull this guy off, and then that should all come out as well. Oh, the steering boot thing there for the rack. Get that out of there. And then we should be able to pull that out, and that'll be nice to let that all air out really well. Get that out of there. We can super duper clean it. But like I said, just because of how much repair, we're actually going to have to put in a giant panel on probably both sides. Just because of the way that it is. This is like extremely rusty. So I'm going to get to work on that, and we'll just keep plugging away. And then I think what I got to do is we've got that HVAC box out. The moldings and the seals and everything look decent on it, actually. But that fan is shot, for sure. I know where I've got a good fan. I think, and I probably want to do this anyway, out there on the trailer is Carry 1.0, the 91 Caravan. I should really pull the HVAC box out of that. So I'll probably do that after I get this all stripped down and let it air out and whatever. once this is done, I think I'm going to go over there off camera, and I'm just going to pull that HVAC box out there. It'd be nice to have. I didn't do it because I was being quick, and obviously, if you've seen that video, we needed to be quick because we ran out of time. But it's still out there, so I might as well do it. And then I have all the parts I need between these two to get them all back together. So, and you never know what other parts we'll need. And you know I do these every time because of, well, the way that they are. So usually, these pedals are really difficult to remove by yourself because they are nut and bolt, so they're through bolted. But luckily, in 1991, Chrysler did realize this before they took this feature away, and they gave you a nice access port to just go up under here, and you should be able to get your wrench on the back side of that nut, and just like that, I'm spinning the nut off. So I will hold the nut there, and I will be able to take a ratchet and get the bolt off. Just like that. That easy access port. I don't know why they took that away. Well, I unbolted the parking brake, and as soon as I did, it went whoop and dropped through the floor. Did we know about that hole? Surely we knew about that one, right? Oh boy. They use a screw clip nut to hold the parking brake cable in. That's wild. Alright, I'm going to show you to get the parking brake assembly out, which is conveniently sitting over here now. But what you want to do is, well, you've got the cable, right? And this guy is right here, and he is locked inside here, and he's locked inside with, I lost it, but it was, I lost it. I had it in my hand, actually. I did actually lose it. I set it down somewhere. It's a little, this guy right here. It's kind of like a safety tab, so it slots in here, as you can see it's shaped like it, then sits here, and then they slot this over it to just hold it, lock it in place. That's a fair play. But you need to be able to pull the cable forward because it slides through right there before it goes through the grommet hole in the floor there. Our grommet hole's a little bigger than it's supposed to be. But you want to go down to the little junction box down here, and in the junction box right here, it should be a plastic cover. You just unclip it. Ours was already unclipped for us. And then in here, you've got a little, here's your two rear cables right here. Ours actually moved, and it can hear them. So the cables are actually good, aside from the part where they're rusty here. But that shouldn't be a big problem. These cables, believe it or not, work. This front cable, believe it or not, is also free, because you got to get him disconnected from the back here. And then you can push the cable forward or pull it, and that gives you the slack to unhook it and then pull it out the body. Or because the way the grommet is, I think you're supposed to be able to unclip it from here, maybe, and then slide it out and up through the body, whatever. But you have this little adjusting guy here, and you're supposed to loosen that nut, and then it should give you enough slack to slot the cables out. In my case, I just bent the tabs over and slotted the cables out, and then slotted the other cable out there because of the way that it is. So quick disconnect. And then I was able to pull the cable off, and out she went the bottom. So that's how you do that. Just because I wanted that out of the way. But here we are. It's all done. It's great. Paint's in good shape. Now we know what we have to do. So literally all the way up to here, all the way up to about there. Well, not that, but like down here and over into that corner over there. And then out to about here, and then across. And we got to kind of clean up this rail in here. Pull this floor off of it. Got to get this plastic cable runner out of here. Get him pulled up out of the way. This, as you can see, is good here. So this metal is good. Don't have to worry about that. The part I'm worried about the most is this support brace here, which braces the rocker to here. We'll have to see what it looks like once we get everything out of the way here. Look at the layer of dirt. See this? That's all gravel. Look at that. That's gravel. Sand. Not good. So we're going to get in here. We're going to use these access panels to really clean out this frame. Really, really, really good. And then coat it really well. Look at that. Look at that. That's how much is in here. And that's the whole frame. I mean, there's still metal here, don't get me wrong, but definitely lost some of it. So, but yeah, if we want to save it, we got to get all of it out. And we got to coat it both sides. You got to get both sides. That's the key. So you can't get oxygen either side of the metal. And then it should not get any worse. My new workspace for the next hour. This should be quick though. Well, there's another one. Hey, that went pretty quickly. Helps when the engine's not in the way. Not helping having the seats here, but it wasn't too bad. The steering column I also had already pulled, so kind of sped things up just a little. But here's the big thing here. I don't have a fan. Fans are like $100. And look at that fan. I know that fan works. And guess what? There's no mouse nest in it. So I think we'll be using that fan for sure. That was worth doing the whole thing really quick. That was worth it. But yeah, take a look here. I wish I had these floors. Look at that. Oh, the driver's side look. As rusty as this thing is, we don't have the rotten floor problem that the Blueberry has over there. Professionally removed panel there. It's got a problem on this side. I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as the other van, but it's got a little bit. Are we surprised? No. Anyway, I think that is the last we will be pulling off of this van. And yet, it won't go to the scrap here because Dad needs the truck tomorrow, but, you know, so I'm going to go park it back there again. And then you never know what comes up. Maybe I will need a piece. Maybe I'll need, like, this trim or something, you know. I don't know. I don't right now, so I won't worry about it. Alright, so we're looking at the glove box drawers. If you remember, here's the one that came off our van, Blueberry. It's blue, but it had Plymouth Voyager on it, and that's not right because it's a Dodge Caravan. So we had the glove box door from Carry 1.0, the 91 Dodge Caravan, and it had a Caravan emblem. So I destroyed the box. Well, yeah, you could consider it destroyed. Trying to figure out how these come apart, because now I've done the learning, so you don't have to do what I do. So I started with the box that I technically didn't need because I need the one with the blue trim, not the gray. So I started with Carries, and I started pulling it apart here. Well, the latch comes out, this guy, the latch, it's a little clip here. That guy's a pain in the ass to get out, by the way. And that comes out. You didn't need to take that out. And then, really, there's no screws on it, so I just started prying with a screwdriver around the edges, and it would click like it was clicked in, but what you were hearing was the glue. So what they did, it's a two-piece dash here. You got this and you got this. And they've got it where it locks into these tracks here, or just kind of sits in there, and they glue them on. So they put a bunch of glue on here, and they glue it on. I can glue that back together, no problem, I suppose. But once I had that apart, well, I was hoping that this was a two-piece plastic here and that it was like laid under. It's not. It's a one piece, and they just paint the bottom of it. So that's how that is. So that's one piece. So that was like, oh, whatever, dang it. And then I get into here, and it's like, oh, the good thing the emblems are just clipped in here. So I was able to just tap the back of this to pop this clip out without breaking them. So that came out, and then I figured on, well, this is the one I tapped out of there, but then on this one, I can't take it apart because I need it, so I gently pried underneath it, and I was able to pull it out, and I actually saved it. It's actually not broke, so I guess I probably could have just pried the logo off of this one and done the same thing there, and that would have been quicker, but here's all we need to do. We have a Dodge Caravan, so these little guys just clip in, just like that, and boom, it is correct again. Or like it should be. I wonder, they must have broke the glove box or something at some point, because that's wrong. Or maybe it's been like that since factory. Maybe they messed up. You never know.
next day.
Okay, so I got the vacuum in here and I kind of cleaned up all the loose stuff I've knocked around. Gives us a good idea of what we're looking at here. Now, game plan here is to only cut out and replace what absolutely needs to be replaced. And that is stuff that is completely rotted through all the way on both sides. And I've got here in front of me the Sharpie. And we're just going to start conservatively cutting, and we can cut bigger. You don't want to go home and just cut everything out when you don't need to. So we're just going to slowly cut out what we need to here. Now, see all this stuff that's all flaky here? This is solid, and it's solid on the other side. What's happened is it's rusted through here, and it's worked its way up under the paint on this side only. On the back side, up under the vehicle, it's still solid because it hasn't rusted through. This here, we can sand down to metal and treat and paint. We don't need to replace that. But you start seeing holes here, and here, and here, and maybe a little one there. I think there's a couple pinholes right there. That needs to be replaced. So, what I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start like here. And I think we're going to go, you see this here? This is for, see the little plug there? That's for the manual transmission that we don't have. So we don't need any of that. So I think we'll just go across. That's a pretty nasty one right there. We'll see how bad that is. And I think we'll just start and we'll just cut that. And we'll go probably up to, I don't know, how does this feel on this back side here? I don't know, I think we'll go like this. That's straight, right? And we'll go like that. And then we'll go straight across from here. And we'll just start with that square. And we'll see what that cuts out, right? We cut that square out, and then we'll be able to start working from there. So that's the worst spot right there, aside from that worst spot right there. Now, we got to be careful working around this rail. We can't cut the rail. There's some spot welds I think we'll have to drill out. It might be from the bottom, to be honest. But it's so rusty, we might be able to just break the spot welds. So, we'll see. But I think we're going to end up going probably out to here. And maybe not these spot welds, but like across like that. And then like all of this right there. And like to here, because that's a different panel. And just seam it to there, or whatever we do, I don't know. Something like that. I put this pallet in here. Fits actually really, it fits freaking perfect. I don't know how more perfect I could have got with that. It's a good backing to keep sparks off all this stuff. But we've got this nice square cut out, or square with a little notch on it. And now it doesn't look so bad in here, does it? Look at this. Look at this. It's not bad. And this metal's thick here. You can see all the way through. We've cut all the way back to metal I can work with. And then I left myself, this is nice clean metal here, or thick. I can still adhere to that, you know, without getting into this firewall piece here. And we should be able to avoid cutting all that out. It looks like I nicked it just a little bit there, but that's all right. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Or we just leave it like this so we can just, you know, Fred Flintstone it, right? There's part number 2 rough cut out of there. See, we just missed the rocker panel there, and we just missed the rail here, and I can still peel this up off of it. All right, we just got a bunch of spot welds to drill out all the way across here to get this piece off of the rail. I already sliced them here. almost done getting the rust out on the driver's side here. As you can see when you're cutting over here, there's this big support beam here. You want to be careful. Don't hit him. He's important. That's important. That's structure right there. That's what holds this, basically this front rail to the cab to the whole thing. Yeah, you don't want to cut him out. But had to drill out a bunch of spot welds. A bunch of these I was able to. This side I didn't have to do any drilling. I pretty well punched them all out. You can see there's a little bit here where they're stuck. Maybe that one a little just cutting off, but then we get up into here, and before I cut into this, I got to take the tire off, and I got to get this inner fender out. Otherwise, we'll be cutting into the fender, or inner fender liner. We don't want to do that. So, but I'm just going to come up. I'm going to come up about this far, like I got lined out here, and just come down here. Maybe come off in a square, because it'll be easier to pat. It doesn't really matter. But that'll be pretty well all of the driver's side, because like I said, all this is good, strong metal. Nothing wrong here. We're going to ignore this stuff for now. All right, there we are. That is everything I'm taking out for metal on this side, which is literally all of it. That is the entire pan right up until the driver's seat. So, yeah, definitely, honestly, it looks better. It's a visual improvement already. But that's not too bad. That's a pretty flat piece of metal for the most of it. We'll put the flat piece in first, and we'll lay something over top for the corner there. That should be pretty easy. That's not bad at all. So we just flushed out this area real quick with the garden hose and the sprayer. But I kind of want to flush the rest of the frame while we're doing it. Here's your beautiful camera angle you guys had. Get this out of the way. And I got this little tool here. We're going to see how well it works. That's what I got. It's garden hose. There's the old sprayer. And on the end here, I've got a two-way valve that's leaking a little bit, as you can see. But you know, if you open these, water comes out. Okay. And then you shut them, and it don't. And on the other end here, I've got this beautiful little 360-degree spray nozzle that should be magnetic, allegedly. And the idea is, that I might have to fix. Yeah, it is magnetic, as you can see. Picked up all the rust. You can stick this, if I can find a good spot, in like frame rail holes and stuff. Yeah, like up there. And then you just turn it on. And then it cleans the rail out really, really well. So I figure we'll give that a go. At least I will here. It's going to be a bit messy. I don't know how much you can see, but I'll do my best. And we'll just see if we can't flush this rail out really well. Okay, so yes, that does work really well. Not sponsored. That's what it is. I got it on Amazon. It was like 50 bucks. It sticks to the frame. It goes through most holes. If you don't drill a hole that size in your rocker panel or whatever, in my case, I've got some rust holes that work just the same. And we flushed out a lot of rust and mud and debris. Definitely could probably use another go at some point, especially the rocker on the passenger side, because it's still whole. You can hear it dripping out the one hole in the back over there. Otherwise, there's no holes for me to get into that rocker. This side was a little easier, you know. But the rail's been flushed pretty good. Definitely good. So, I'm comfortable with hitting that with some rust convert once it dries and some primer paint. And then we'll fluid film over that, obviously. And that should pretty well stop the rust. At least it'll last a lot longer that way. Great, and we're done with the passenger side. It's actually, after getting in there and kind of digging around it, it's better than I thought it was. The only rust hole was inside this pocket here where stuff, presumably moisture and dirt and salt and everything, sat up in here and just rotted the panel from both sides. The rest of this, it's all rust from in here going this way, and this side, there's no rust on the back side of the panel. It's all from the moisture in here in the carpet holding moisture. Well, here we are back out with Carrie 1.0. We need this roller because ours is seized on the bottom. As you can see, it's been running flat. We need that roller right there because it works. Now that's why it's nice to kind of just have a parts vehicle around. I wish I could keep another one around like that just back in the weeds, because look at that. Look at huge improvement, and I'd had to make a whole trip to a junkyard, you know, hour, 2 hour, whatever away. We just had one that we were just going to scrap. So, awesome. Huge fix. Otherwise, I got the disc here, about to switch it onto that. Never lay your blades like that. That's good for them, because then they bend, and then they crack, and then when you're cutting, they break, and they fling into your eye. So don't do that. Alright, got it all ground down about as far as we're going. And we're going to hit it with this rust fix right here by Duplicolor. Going to layer that on thick. That should take the existing rust and kind of convert it. And then once we convert it, I've got an automotive primer we're going to hit it with. A couple coats of that. Just really seal it in. And then I got a paint and primer we'll put over top of that. And that will be it. And then for inside the rails, after that's all done, we're going to go ahead and just coat it with some fluid film and just coat up all the surfaces that we need to. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get the floor pans made. Get some liquid nails out, we'll just start putting the floor pans in, but that'll be a bit here. We got to do a couple layers of this. All right, I got 2 coats of this primer on in 2 whole cans. That's all done, look at that. First layer of paint on. This is the second time I'm using this paint. I actually really like it. This is actually really good paint. I don't know how it'll hold up, but I really like this paint, how it lays down, and obviously that. Paint's all done, it's just gotta dry. Took about 1 can per pass to do the whole thing, plus the ins and outs of the rails. Good, I just noticed on the driver's side door hinges, we'll have to weld those.
Space for like
Alright, got a few updates here. Those are all the old coolant hoses. I got all the new coolant hoses on because I've been meaning to do that. And we've got, well, those aren't new. Those are factory ones with the proper bend so they don't get kinked for the heater core hoses. And then, I guess, we'll go this way. We've got everything ready to go for our new panels. That's been painted, that's been dried for an hour or so. I fluid filmed the insides and the outsides of the rails. So that's all taken care of. And then we've got this that was, I noticed it before, but, or recently while I was working on this. I welded up the hinges and I painted it. That's good to go. That was going to be a problem if we didn't take care of that. Now you see, I've got the welder out. I can weld. We're not going to weld that because it doesn't need to be. I'd argue it's the same thickness as the hood, which is probably the same thickness as this metal, to be honest with you. I would argue that they're probably about the same. You know what I noticed? This Z-Bart guy's got paint on it. But you know these Z-Bart plugs, I swear to God, they just threw these in here and sent it. I think this van's been painted before. Because it's got paint on the Z-Bart, and then you can see paint underneath. I think this van's been painted. Wild. At least this half of the van, because this one's painted, but this one isn't. I think the top half of that van got painted at some point. Is there a seam here? I can see a paint mark or a paint line. Yeah, look at that. There's a paint line. Carrie had been repainted. This half up. You could tell now. It's funny, I'm looking at it now. I never would have noticed that. It is a different color. Just kind of faintly. No wonder it's so nice at the top half and then not. Huh. Yeah, there's a faint paint line. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a paint line going up. Sure as shit. What does this side look like? I don't think this side had been. So something happened on this side at some point that this whole chunk was repainted. Huh. I guess we learned something new about Carrie today. That's interesting. I could see it. It's clear as day now. It's obvious that it's different. I'd have never noticed that before. Where'd that chunk of metal go that I had? Oh, yeah, right here. My patch panel. I'll see how much I can cut out of that hood. Otherwise, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good chunk of metal right there, too. We'll see. Found this in the cupboard. Isn't that wild? Doesn't go in very well, but... R.I.P. hood. And if you look over here, there's our beautiful patch panel, #1. So, that's going to be the big boy. Cut it out of the hood. They use like that little like spray foam to kind of glue it onto the inner panel. I just kind of kicked it from the inside and it fell out. So, and then I put a small cut here, and I put a nice curved cut there for that panel, and then I put a bend in that where it meets the kick panel, and that'll be that. So I could have left myself a little more extra on the edge. I thought I did, but I did when I cut, clearly. Well, not clear, I don't know, you can't tell, but I'm pretty close on both sides. Going this way, we're perfect. Going this way, it's a little tight. But I had a little bit more to work with, but not that much. So I'm going to go get the liquid nails, and I'm going to put a seam on the whole thing, and then a seam on the inside of this panel, and then we'll stick it down, and that will be that. Actually, I'm going to take a white paint pen and mark my corners, because this is where I want the panel to sit, and we'll start zipping self-tappers into it. Well, how about that for a paintless hood as a floor pan? That looks pretty freaking good. She's in there, she's secure. Had a little, where I'd step on it, it would go bing, bing, bing. So what I did is I just beat on this seam here. You just tap it in until she's got the structural bends to it to not do that. Hit some self-tappers all. I kind of guessed where the rail was, and I missed a couple right there. But, went back and hit them. We're hit all the way around on the edges. I got a piece to cut there. I got some corner piece I got to make there. Figure something out for that. And then we just got two rectangles over there to make. Otherwise, I hit that. I put new seam sealer on that seam. Well, liquid nail seam sealer, whatever. On all that seam there, because I ripped all that old sealer out. Same with over here in the corner. But, yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. And if you take a look under here, looks pretty good too. I also went in and I cleaned up the seam down under here as well. full coverage, full seam all the way around, so she's sealed. And it don't look all that bad, especially when we paint it black and then cover it in fluid film. No hole. No hole. Oh, I haven't wiped that seam down. I forgot about that part. So we'll wipe that down, but it's full coverage. You can see where it's squeezed out. Perfect. Alright, got that patch in. Just got one more to make. That's kind of a funny one to make, though, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to do it in a couple pieces. Alright, here's an update of where we're at. We're just about done. As you see, the whole passenger side's all completed, and the driver's side is mostly completed. Still got to do that patch. I've been doing some thinking, and I think I got an idea how I want to do it. So I'm going to cut a chunk that's, you know, yay tall, and then it's just going to be a big rectangle, and I'll kind of come and fold it in place. This side will be a little easy. It's just a bend, a bend. This side we got to bend and then cut, and then do a couple relief cuts to probably overlap it on that panel there. I think that's how I want to do it. I am out of liquid nails. I used, I had one tube that was partially used all that, and then I used a full tube. But all of this is sealed on both sides. Pretty dang good. For that, because I want to get it done tonight, we're going to use some weatherproof clear silicone. Now, the idea of the liquid nails is, on top of it being kind of a sealant and a seam sealer, it's also adheres to the panel. We also have the self-tappers to do that, so I think this will get by with there. It'll be all right. It'll be a lot better than the hole that is there and was there before. And like I said, we're going to fluid film it. I really don't think it'll see salt when I'm driving it, so sure hope not anyway. So it should be fine. That hood did not go to waste. We used the whole thing. Yep, that was not wasted at all. Perfect use of a junk body panel for pans and whatnot. Okay, I'm done for the night. Getting a little frustrated because I keep hurting myself, banging my knees. It's been a long day, so this is what I came up with. It's a little panel like that. I kind of bent it. I do want to put one more screw here before I forget. Looks like I did forget, so I gotta put one more down here. Otherwise, we're not gonna put any along the bottom. I've got some there, and it kind of ties it together. I'll show you here in a minute, but that'll fit. That'll do. I gotta pick up some liquid nails tomorrow, and we'll seal and kind of adhere that whole panel tomorrow. But we've got this panel touching this panel holding that panel into the rail, and then down here you'll see a couple self-tappers drilled in this way that I've cut off. They're adhering this panel to this panel, so it's all adhered. What I did is I kind of did it, and then this panel overlapped, so I cut a couple relief cuts and bent it over. And so that one kind of seals it properly that way, and then also kind of puts them together. That worked. It's definitely not sealed pretty tight, so we're going to go heavy on the liquid nails and create a nice barrier. But that's the panel. That's all the metal work done. So we get the dash in, make sure everything runs, make sure everything works. And then, when we're finally done with all that, we've got the interior to do. And boy, do we got some stuff in store there. We got to clean the carpet, super clean, pressure wash, extract all the seats, and then we've got to put new fabric on the old headliner. We're gonna do an attempt at gluing some new headliner fabric down. I don't remember if I've shown you guys that yet, but I have some fabric, so awesome. We'll be able to do that. I'm looking back here, seeing if there's any rust floor repair I gotta do. I don't know that there really is, actually. I think this floor is pretty good. Maybe a couple knock down some surface rust in here and paint, but there she is. There she is, mostly just about done. Alright, so I didn't do any filming yesterday, but I did come in and I put some liquid nails and sealed this up. I definitely didn't wait long enough before I applied the paint, because I was applying the paint. And as you can see, it hadn't hardened completely, so it's going to take a little longer to fully cure up. It's a little soft, but I also did it while it was kind of humid and rainy out, so, you know, that's really going to help it, you know, make it cure properly. Anyway, this is what it looks like with some paint on there. Doesn't it look good? there's no holes in the floor and there's no rust, so pretty good. This side not as pretty because I haven't painted it, but it's like I said, I'm not too proud of that one. And that is going to bring us to the end of this episode. We got a lot done today. We got that dash pulled out of the van. We got that floor pan fixed. We got a few bits and bobs tidied up. And we are finally ready to get the interior refreshed, put back in this vehicle, and get this van fully put back together and hopefully back on the road where it belongs. I'll see you guys here next episode. And thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment. I like comments, so does YouTube. And also subscribe. That would be really awesome.